And I think we're off. Okay, welcome everybody. My name's Jo Denning. I'm part of the Frequency Soul Collective team in Australia. For those that don't know me, I am an energy and frequency practitioner. So I work with Reiki, access bars, aroma touch massage, and I use the bioresonance device with clients. I started working with the AO scan 2 years ago now, so I'm nearly up on my 2-year anniversary, which is great. And I bought this originally to help family, and then realized that we've got such an amazing piece of technology in our hands that it was something that I really needed to share and add as a modality to my business. The main thing that I use with the scanner is the inner voice scan and looking at the chakras and the meridians during Reiki sessions. So there are lots of ways that you can utilize this technology in your practice. Some people use it a lot more than what I do, but there's certainly lots of ways to make a business out of this. Kayleen, can I just ask you to mute, please? That would be awesome. Thank you. So I'm going to share the screen with you. There's quite a bit to get through this evening. So give me a thumbs up if you can see the screen. Awesome. So the first thing I'm going to look at is the portal. So the portal is the Frequency Soul Collective portal. It's $99 a year to join. And it's got a lot of really good content in there that will help you with your own business. So there's a welcome to the portal from our beautiful two ladies. And then it goes through like clearing the energy in your space, some guided meditations, how to use your device, Solex business compliances and back office overview, and then an amazing marketing tool with Trello. So Trello, there's lots of information in there for you to be able to use content to put on your social media, and an amazing human design thing at the end. So it's well worth the money. There's like, I think something like $1,500 worth of value in this portal. And it's great to be able to go back to, I even went back to it today and learned some more things about how to use Canva and using the Trello board and things like that. So there's lots of content in there that will really help you as a business builder. Highly recommend that you join that one. And I believe that Beck's about to update that one too. So that will be really good. The next thing that I wanted to look at was your back office. So hopefully that's it's sharing the screen in the back office. So as many of you will know, when you join Solex, you will get your own marketing website. So to find your website, you go to your home in the back office, and your marketing site is on the main screen here. So this is my marketing site, solex.com/Joanne Denning. You can go into that and you can change and edit that name if you want to. So if you've got a business name you want to put it under, you can put it under your business name. So you've got full control over that. And that's where you would send people when they're wanting to sign up underneath you. As well as this, in your back office, you've got your team dashboard. So it will show you your distributors, and it will show you your customers. And then you've got a business snapshot on the front page as well. I don't know why this is showing not commissions qualified, so I think something's going on with it at the moment. You can have a visual tree, which shows you all your QLAs, and then you can click on each one and it will show you what's going on with their subscriptions, whether they're up to date, whether repayments decline, so that you can stay on top of your QLAs and help them in case anything's going wrong with their accounts. You can look at your pay history, and you can look at your points history. The next thing to look at in the back office is tools. So you have all your documents and media in here, your AO scan guide, which is great to refer to if you need anything. Let's have a view of that. So it just goes through everything that you need to know with regards to your device. If you purchase the device, what headset to use and when, and how often you should be doing your scanning. So it's a really, really good resource to be able to go back to if you get a little bit confused of like, should I use a quick scan today, or how many times a week should I be doing a comprehensive scan? Everything is in this table that you need. There's also the compensation plan. We've got training on that too. Product resources, which is great if anyone's wanting to, let's have a look at this one. If any one of you is needing information on a certain product for someone, you can go to this and you can send them a copy of this. And there's a leaflet on every single product that Solex have, which is great. And 660 band, which is new and amazing. So some information there on the 660 band for people. So everything you need in products is all underneath here. The next one is Solex University. So everyone should have done their back office training, which has just been updated. And that's really, really good value content for you. And I've also done phase 1. So phase 1 I found was just phenomenal to just go deeper into the vitals, the comprehensive, and how to get more out of it. I stopped at phase 1 because I don't use a lot of scans with clients, and I feel that I have enough knowledge for myself to be able to use on family and friends. But definitely phase 1 was amazing value for me to be able to do. So that's something to look at. If you're not getting enough out of basic training, definitely look deeper into the phase 1. And then you've got all your legal documents. So one good thing under legal documents is the waiver. And now for those that do use clients, you may want to consider using the consent agreement and liability waiver. So it just goes through that you're an independent quantum living advocate, you're not a licensed medical practitioner, that people affirm that they're requesting the analysis for themselves and things like that. So it's just a little bit of a waiver if you do want something like that in a practice as a clinician. It's got some great information in there for your clients to be able to sign. I've never used it, but it is a good valuable resource to have. You've got your marketing tools when they decide to come up, and they're not going to. There we go. So underneath here you've got all your logos, banners and things like that that you can cut and paste into your own things. So it's going to save it, it's not going to open it. You can see there in the corner what it looks like. So you can cut and paste them, make your own business cards with the Solex independent QLA banner. You can create your own banners in Officeworks. You pull up banners and use any of these logos to be able to help in your designs. And then shareable images that we have as well. Hoping that it'll share. There we go. So some great images that you can use when you're creating content for your social media, or putting things together for like Instagram. Next one would be ordering. So you can order from this page for yourself. Everything's available there. Your training again.
Illinois.
So back office basics, compensation plan, and your shop are definitely worth doing, as well as your Solex University, your basic training. This will teach you how to use your back office, how the compensation plan works, and what goes on your shop site. So these are definitely worth doing when you find time to do them. And then you've got going back to, I just want to go back to subscription, go back to home. Just show you where you can change your subscription to, because a lot of people have problems with that. So let's just have a look at that. Maybe it's there. Where are you? There. So under orders, manage subscription. And if you need to edit your subscription at all, you just need to click the edit button. So if you need to change credit card details, update anything, you go into here and then you can just click edit. So you can edit your address, you can edit when your next payment comes out, and you can edit your credit card details as well. So you've got full control over everything in your back office. Okay, let's get rid of these windows so I don't get lost. So that it's logged me out of Pay Quicker, so that's good of it. Great. The next one I'm going to look at is the Solex YouTube. So make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel. They put out videos every week, as you can see here. It is around 10:30, 11 o'clock our time, I believe, on a Thursday morning, and that's when you can watch it live. So make sure you click on those, or you watch the replay. You can always, if you subscribe to the channel, you can enter the competitions that they have. You can win some awesome prizes, and you get to see who's top enroller and who's doing well in the company, and then they'll do some online training with you as well. We also have the Frequency Soul Collective, which you can subscribe to as well. And that's where all our YouTube videos get uploaded. So all the previous trainings, you can go back over, and I think there's quite a few on there at the moment. So there's some good content in there for you to catch up with too. What else is there? There's so much to get through. Pay Quicker. I'll see if I can get logged into Pay Quicker. Hopefully it will let me in. Maybe not. There we go. Just bear with me 1 second and I'll give it a code. Okay, so Pay Quicker is where your commissions get paid to. So if you sign people up, your commissions from those people will go into your Pay Quicker account. Now, a lot of people have had a few issues with Pay Quicker, as in they didn't know how to set it up and they didn't know where the commissions were going. So it's really valuable to be able to find your way around Pay Quicker and know how you're going to get paid your commissions. Now in Pay Quicker, there is also at the top here, there is a Use My Virtual Card. So you get given, you can order a plastic card or you can use a virtual card. Now I'm recording this, so I'm not going to click on virtual card because then everybody will see my number and I'll have no commissions left. So, but if you click on that, you get a visual of a credit card. Now what I do with mine is I take all the details from that credit card and I put them into my Solex subscription. So my subscription gets paid straight out of my Pay Quicker account. I found this to be a much better way because I'm not then messing around with Australian banks and paying it out of my Australian bank into Solex and then commissions getting paid into Pay Quicker and taking that out and putting it in my Australian bank. So I basically just leave everything in Pay Quicker and pay everything straight out of Pay Quicker. And then that way, all that information goes to my accountant at the end of the year and she just sorts it out for me. So if you do have clients under you, QLAs under you, PCs under you, and you are getting commissions, highly recommend that you use your virtual card to pay your subscriptions, and then it just takes out that middleman of the Australian banks, you know, having to pay out of one, pay into one, and blah, blah, blah. So it works really, really well for me. I've never had any issues with it. And it's a great way to be able to see exactly what's coming in and going out. I will log out of that. And the other thing that I wanted to discuss with people before I opened up a Q&A was ensuring that everybody understands that we've got the Day of Discovery coming up, which is the 9th to 11th of November on the Gold Coast. Corporate team are coming over, which will be amazing. I just, yeah, I don't know how I'm going to cope seeing them. I'm going to be fangirling. And yeah, so the tickets are available in the back office, and we'd love you to join us. It would be great to see everybody there. So I'm going to open up the chat. So if you want to, I will stop sharing my screen. So if anyone's got any questions, please feel free to unmute yourself and I'll see if I can answer them for you. Don't be scared. Is there any way to add frequencies? What do you mean by add frequencies?
I'm just curious. I'm a kinesiologist, and I have a whole lot of beautiful essential oils, and I was curious to know, is there any way of scanning the essential oil, having it as an option for it to be broadcast, the frequency of the oil, to a recipient?
I don't believe so as yet, but let me just sign into my, I thought I had my scanner open, but I don't. Let's just share this screen. And so there is a way, sorry, I'm just going to share my screen again. If you go into, does that come up? Share, there we go. So if you go into Cephi, there is a way that you can imprint the essential oil into something else, but you can actually broadcast it. So you would go into the Cephi here, and then press imprint. You place the essential oil on this section here, and it will transfer it to whatever is placed here. So if you wanted to imprint that, I know a lot of people like double imprint so that oil's stronger, if that makes sense. So they've got double the amount of frequencies in it, so you can copy the frequencies and then copy the frequencies and then copy the frequencies. So it's like got 4 times that potency in it. But as far as I'm aware, we can't actually extract that yet and then broadcast that frequency to someone.
Okay.
Any other questions?
I'm curious about the creation of broadcast playlists. And for example, if I was to do a vital scan and
you've vanished,
or a calcium, in terms of there's no frequencies that we could broadcast that are specific to those, is there? It's more, I use that information. If it repeatedly showed, it would be for educational purposes, a suggestion to explore that as a supplementation. But there's, in terms of using specific frequencies, nutritionals, such as that.
you keep dropping out. So can you use your example again?
Okay.
You said calcium and then it just disappeared from my end. So I don't know if anyone else heard the question either.
Yeah.
Sorry.
No, that's okay. My question was, for example, if I did a vital scan and nutritionals showed up repeatedly, and for example, it might be zinc or calcium in a playlist, if they'd showed up frequently, the response to that with a client might be a suggestion of looking at that as supplementation support. There's no frequencies that would target that, though, is there?
Correct.
Yeah.
Okay. So you would be asking them, let's say zinc showed up 5 times. Then you would be saying, look, this is an educational tool. It's educated me to the fact that zinc keeps appearing. It could be worth looking at maybe a blood test, unless you don't do blood tests yourself. Go and get a blood test. Just check that everything's within the normal ranges. But yeah, there isn't an actual playlist for zinc or calcium or iron or anything like that. So that information is more educational for that client to be able to then send them away to get more tests if needed, if you don't run those tests yourself.
Yes. Okay. Yeah, that's great.
You're all very quiet, ladies. You must have more questions. Julie, I've never seen you as quiet.
I do have another one, just to
keep going, honey. Keep going.
Sorry.
No, that's fine. That's fine. It's how people learn.
So with I sort of see it as a 3-step process. So we do the scan. Some of those scans, the next step would be to optimize, which is that first level of broadcasting frequencies. And then after that, we would then go on to create a broadcast if that was necessary. Would they be the 3 steps?
So what I would do is I would always optimize. I would never do a scan without optimizing it. It would be a given that if you scan, you optimize.
Yes.
Because you're wanting to bring the body as much back into homeostasis as you possibly can. Yep. So I can't see any reason why you would ever scan, but then not optimize, because we have that ability to be able to do that.
Yeah.
So with regards to creating a playlist, personally, I wouldn't create a playlist unless I'd got a vast amount of information. Now that might come from your conversations with the client, from any results of other tests that they've had, from their scans as well. And that's how you would gather that data to do that. So if they've got something specific they're looking at, then you can go deeper into the Cephis and you can look under the quantum frequencies and quantum affirmations of what they want. If you're just wanting a basic playlist, then absolutely you can just go from the scans, because on the basic playlist you've got things like healing and stamina and things like that are so beautiful that you're not going to do any harm by putting those into a playlist anyway, because they're generic. But if you're looking for something that's more specific, then obviously you would need to have they say between 3 and 5 scans to cross-reference, and then obviously based on your conversations with the client that you have in front of you as well. Does that help?
Yeah, it does.
Awesome. You need to keep going because everybody's scared and no one wants to ask
I'll ask
any more questions. Go on, Julie.
Hello.
Hi, beautiful.
Okay, so I did a Cephi for myself of an easy scan, okay?
Yeah.
And I imprinted it in with the water.
Yeah.
Okay, so you know how it says in it, like because I haven't really played with this much, so I have been playing with it. So I imprinted in all the water, but there was like 5 or 6 of them that came up from the scan, like Candida detox, heart plus, radiation. I was like on song, right? Anyway, so I put all these in a water and I drank it. If I'm going to imprint it in the capsules, the little pellets, do I have to, can I just put one lot of pellets in and do them all together?
I believe you can, yes.
Okay.
But it depends. I
thought it might throw them out.
Well, I would use your intuition as to whether any of them.
Yeah, they might cross reference.
Yeah.
And be counterproductive.
Obviously, if you've got like a list of 15, then you wouldn't want to put that many into the homeopathic pellets. So it's more of a, for me, I'd use that more intuitively and go, well, I don't want to take this one with this one and maybe do it that way. But it depends on how many pellets it wants you to take as well. Like if it says 5 to 6 pellets for each one, and you've got a list of 15, then that's a lot of sugar pellets to be taken.
And counting them, you know, like so put it in the water instead.
Personally, I do exactly the same. In fact, I'm really bad and I actually put my coffee cup on it, but my coffee cup's glass. But usually when I'm doing my scans, I've got my cup of coffee, right? So I'm like, just put my coffee on it and imprint. But
I'm trying to stop the coffee. I'm trying to, you know, cut back on the coffee because me and coffee have a good relationship.
You're being good.
Anyway.
But I certainly wouldn't be wanting to imprint like 30 pellets. But I would be mindful of which ones could sort of interfere frequency-wise with each other. And
that was my thing.
And
that's
maybe
why.
do it that way. Yeah. So intuition plays a big part in what's going on with frequencies as well. So I would definitely, look into your intuitive side and you'll know whether you should put something with something else.
Yeah. I just wanted to help you answer the question for the pay, the pay thing.
Yeah, the pay.
We get an invitation to get paid. You'll get an email to get paid.
Yeah. Thank you for that. Yeah, mine was like a long time ago.
You'll get an email to initiate it and set it up. Okay, that's all I've got to say.
Thank you, beautiful.
How long do you ever run, you've done a scan and you might do like a beautiful playlist of all the yummy frequencies of like love and peace and inner tranquility. Could you run those types of frequencies overnight for the whole night?
Absolutely.
So you can do long duration.
You can do long term. So my husband has a lot of pain, and so every time I go and pick the scanner up, it's literally on his profile running his pain scans, and I'm like, well, it's constantly running for him, and that's just not just the nice ones. It's all the technical ones, shall we say, that he uses as well, and he has that on a continuous, and he usually does it. I find it much better to do them individually, continuously, rather than continuously. So if you are going to do it that way, then put them on individual and just let it cycle through. I have heard that some of the mobile phones kick off at 30 minutes. They have a timer in them, the Solex mobiles. Someone was saying on the Solex LLC page that there's a 30-minute timer on them, so theirs just cuts off. But I have the tablet and I've never had that issue. So that's just something to be mindful. If anyone's watching and you do have the mobile, just check your settings, because it may switch off at the 30-minute mark and not run continuously overnight.
Okay.
There's some good questions.
I have a question. On the scan results, with your current and previous, it has a percentage, like from ideal, say 35%. What exactly does that, like, what is that trying to tell you?
So you're wanting that number to be as close to 0 as possible.
Okay.
because ideal is 0.
Okay.
So if you're 21% off ideal, or you're 35% off ideal, then the 21% is the better number.
Okay.
So that's what you're aiming for. So you will scan yourself first, and it might say 45% from ideal. And then when you've optimized, it might say 25% from ideal for that particular area. So you, every time you optimize, it should be coming down, not going up.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
It does, yeah.
Awesome.
And oh gosh, I've gone blank. I had like 3 or 4 questions.
That's all right. Have a think. We've got time. All good.
Well, I guess another one was like, I'm not really qualified as a practitioner in any alternate health. So is there anyone out there that has had quite of success in this business, like if they didn't have a practitioner background? Okay, that's awesome.
So I don't have a practitioner background per se, as in I'm not a kinesiologist, I'm not, I don't do acupuncture, I don't do things like that. I do energy healing, which is Reiki, which is a lot to do with frequency. But I would say if you want to make a business out of this, which you can without being a practitioner, do your training. So get as much, because information is power.
Yeah, I'm finding that it's a bit overwhelming with all the information and avenues that are out there. And I'm like, just trying to absorb it all. I think I find it more, by doing it, I find it easier to take it in.
Yeah. So start with family and friends, which is what I did. It is very, very, very overwhelming. So start with your family and friends, play with it, have fun with it. And just start to look at scans. I'm 2 years in now, and there are practitioners out there that are doing way more than what I'm doing. And I look at them and sometimes I'm so intimidated by it, but then I'm like, I don't need to do what they're doing. I just need to do me. So look at what you want to offer someone. You can make a business out of this just doing inner voice scans alone, because the majority of, excuse me, the majority of what goes on in our bodies physically comes from our emotions. So if you can balance someone's emotions, you don't need to do anything else. You don't need to do the vitals and show them it and overwhelm yourself. You don't need to do the comprehensive scans and overwhelm yourself. When you get more competent, it's fun to do those and go, hey, look at this, you've got pain in your shoulder here. And they go, what the heck do you know that? But in the beginning, you don't need to do that. So just, my advice would be, obviously learn as much as you can about it, but don't be a jack of all trades. Learn inner voice, learn it well, and you can charge for inner voice scans and have a client base from inner voice scans alone. And if you're charging I charge $55 for an inner voice scan. It's amazing. You don't even need to see people face to face. You can start to learn to do Zoom consults. I do Zoom consults. I never thought that I would do Zoom consults in my life. And I do Zoom consults. And at first, the first couple that you do, it's a little bit overwhelming, but try and do it with friends first and learn how to do it. But yeah, most definitely, you can build a client base without actually being a practitioner. And your basic training and the phase training gives you certificates. So that's your acknowledgement that you know what you're doing, and the acknowledgement for your clients. I've got my phase 1 certificate up on my wall, and it's just an acknowledgement that you've put the training in and you've learned what you needed to learn to be able to treat them as a client. So yeah, have fun with it.
Yeah, I'm really liking the Cephi and the broadcasting out to people. Yeah, which I've been doing with family. And then I find with the question just before about running it simultaneously or individually, like, is one not as potent as the other? Like, because I'm just finding time wise with just what I'm doing with family, it does take up a lot of time working through them. So personally,
I prefer the individual. I would more likely, and you will get feedback from people, how they're receiving it, and learn to adapt it yourself. I would personally prefer to do, if say there's 15 in a playlist, I would personally prefer to do an individual 2-minute broadcast of each one than a simultaneous continuous, because a good 2 minutes of each individual one, I feel personally is more beneficial. But a lot of people use the continuous one and just do that for 2 minutes. So for me, I suppose it's about gathering feedback from who you're doing that broadcasting with and what they're feeling and the response that they give you from that. And you'll be able to work out, you know, how that works better for you.
Yeah, well, I'm keeping a spreadsheet of what I do with, even with the broadcasting, and I have done comprehensive, what's the other one? The vitals. So I've been keeping spreadsheets with that as well. So
oh gosh, even I don't do that. I'm like, how's it going to optimize? I'll be right.
I learned that someone said just a copy and paste, which that was good, so that it's not very time consuming there. But it's interesting to see, like, people that I thought in the family would have lines of red don't actually have lines of red with their health conditions, but then others that, well, for example, my sister, she came up with a couple of lines of red that I wouldn't have expected would come up. Yeah, and she doesn't really have, you know, in your face health conditions that the other people do. So,
but with things like that as well, just remember that these things could be passed down through generations. She could have that frequency in her body that's come from great grandparents. If you believe in past lives, it could come from past lives, could come from some sort of quantum entanglement with someone that she's had interactions with. So it's not necessarily hers per se, especially if she's not getting symptoms or anything from that. But it is something that, let's say, for example, I don't know, her iron levels shown up as high, but she's just had a blood test and they're fine on her blood test. We don't just take the information from that from one scan. So make sure that you're looking at those reds over a period of 3 to 5 scans and cross-referencing, because she should be shifting those things out of her body. We're constantly ebbing and flowing with frequency, so that frequency should be shifting out of her body. If it's shifting out, then you're never going to know where it's come from. It could have come from someone in the supermarket as she's walked past them and had a frequency entanglement with them, and it might not even be hers. So unless it's sticking around, don't overthink it.
Another thing, sorry, I'm taking up other people. But what I did yesterday before I sent out the frequencies, my gut instinct, and I don't know if that's what they're set up for, but my gut instinct was to clear their frequency first, broadcast their frequency list, and then shield it as though it's encasing them with it. So that's how I sort of felt it was to be. So I don't know. I only did that the once though, so I don't know if there's any results from that.
Some of our practitioners will actually add those into their playlist. So if you're running a playlist, they will actually put the energetic clear at the beginning of the playlist, and at the bottom they'll put the shield. So if you're running through that playlist once, then you've got that wonderful, you've got the energetic clear as you're starting. You've already done it. It works through the playlist, especially if you're doing a 2-minute individual. You can start with the clear, you can run through the playlist and finish off with a shield. So, and that's how a lot of our practitioners do that, rather than doing it as a cleanse and shield beforehand. Another thing that you must always remember when you're working with people, do the shield and clear on yourself too. I
do feel drained after doing everyone else. So with my vitals and that, I've just done that now after doing everyone sort of throughout the day. I do feel drained. So I do know that I need to do that too.
Just I forget to do it as well. So but it is a really good practice to get into. It's the same as when we do Reiki, we do the whole brush things off and get rid of things. So it's a very similar thing that you do. You don't want those frequencies connecting to you.
Yep. Okay, cool. I'll let someone else talk now. Thank you.
Oh, you're very welcome.
Yeah, so I have a question around the energy thing and the shielding thing as well. So I was thinking more along the lines, I guess, when you go out into like shopping centers, because the energy and stuff is so intense in those places, and you just automatically absorb stuff whether you intentionally want to or not. So would you do a clear and a shield on yourself before you went to those, and then again when you got back home?
Absolutely, because we have the technology available to us, right? So why not?
Yes, exactly. So
Yeah.
And that's what I was thinking, because even when Rosie was just saying about like feeling drained and stuff like that, yeah, if you're doing that quickly between your clients, you're not going to have that experience of feeling totally drained. And the thing I find really interesting about this is that it's like all the stuff that we had to do manually before as energy healers, it's like covered. It's like makes it a no-brainer. Like,
Absolutely. So I call it Reiki on steroids.
yeah. yeah, because I do Reiki as well, but I do other things also.
Yeah.
So I trained in kinesiology up to certificate 4. I don't practice as kinesiology though, because I found it just wasn't my passion. Like I love it. I love receiving kinesiology and being a part that way. But I just found it like, just boring.
Yeah.
And it was just like, this is too boring for me. Like,
Yeah.
you do all that study and work and stuff, and then it's just like, no. So I do have people occasionally that will say to me, "Oh, can you please just do some kinesiology?" I'm like, "Yeah, right,
Yeah. Yeah.
But,
I love the fact that it is basically energy healing on steroids. Like we have everything available to us at the touch of a button. But even going into a supermarket, when you come out, you can also use your own intuition as well, and just walk out and just say, I'm letting go of what doesn't serve me, and your body will do that too. So if you don't, or again, I don't know whether all of you have a device or whether you use your own device or not, but I find it really handy to be able to sign into any device, because I leave my tablet at home, and then if I'm walking around the shopping centre and I'm suddenly like, oh, this is not a nice feeling or whatever, I can do that cleanse and shield, or I can run a playlist of peace and harmony or whatever I need to do. I actually cheat a bit when I do the markets. I sell jewelry, I make jewelry and I sell jewelry, and I take a photograph of my market stall and then run abundance frequencies on the market stall. And it actually feels like I'm cheating, but no word of a lie. The minute I turn it on, I just get people walking towards me. Me and my husband just sit back and we watch. And the other week I did one. It was so funny. I did one and my husband's like, have you put the scanner on yet? And I'm like, oh no, haven't bothered with it. And he's like, put it on. So I went, okay, took a photograph of the stall and put the frequencies on and all the abundance and everything. I've got this beautiful market playlist. And I watched this lady from across the field, and she comes marching over like she's on this massive mission, and her friends were like, where are you going? And she's like, I need to go to this stall and I don't know why. And me and my husband were just like, oh, that's hilarious. So I didn't tell her I was running frequencies, but then I just felt like a bit witchy woo-woo, and I was like, that's just so funny. I tell that story to a few people because it's mind-blowing. This technology is just mind-blowing, and the more you learn about it and the more you delve into it and the more you see the subtle things that are happening with people that you helping with it, it's phenomenal. We have the most amazing piece of technology, and it's phenomenal, and I can't wait to meet corporate. Oh, I'm so excited.
So I have a quick question, because a friend of mine suggested that I could do markets and stuff, and I'm like, oh, I don't really know. But then you just mentioned it, I'm thinking, oh, that is a pretty good idea. So how would you load a photo into your app thing then?
So just under spaces and objects.
Oh, spaces and objects. Okay.
Yeah.
Yep, cool.
Yeah, so you just
Yeah, because I'm thinking it doesn't have a name or a date of birth or anything like that. So yeah.
no, so you just go into a space and objects and you upload your photograph, and it will ask you for a name of your photograph, and then you send the frequencies obviously to that object.
Yep. So I do have one other question too, and it's about the chromosome section.
Yeah.
So I've noticed on the scans that I've done on myself so far that, you know, most of my away froms are, you know, pretty much under 40. Some are hovering around the low 20s. I think there's one that's a 20. But then when it comes to the chromosome ones, they're high. And I'm like, oh, cool. Okay, so I've collected all this stuff somewhere through my genetic line or whatever. So there was a thing posted in the group the other day about the chromosomes that Katie Jane put up, and I opened that up. So when it's got where it says DNA marker 1, 2, 3, is that like how it's aligned on that website, or is it something else? How do they match up those DNAs, and which number does it match up to? Does it match up to what's on the website?
I am going to say I have absolutely no idea.
Because I was thinking,
So
like,
you go
it's
through
not-
all that question.
yeah,
so
no, I just
sorry.
have one of those minds that's curious, and it's just like, yeah, it's just like, yeah, I think that's really cool. I'd love to know how that works. So yeah.
We'll get back to listen back to this and see whether she has an answer to that. If not, it would probably be a question for support. They would be, especially something to do with DNA and chromosomes and things like that. I would most definitely pop it in an email to support, and someone there will be able to give you a way more technical answer of my I don't know.
Yeah, I was just like, I saw that and I'm like, oh wow, that's got to be it. That's got to be the like marker 1, marker 2, like yeah. So
yeah, there will be some technicality behind it, but yeah, unfortunately I can't answer that one. So you've got me.
No, that's okay. That's okay. And I think all my other questions were pretty much answered. Yeah, I don't think I've got any other questions, not at the minute anyway.
That's all right. Thank you for your questions.
Oh, you're welcome.
Becca, I've got some curiosity about how you facilitate your inner voice scan. So once you have the voice recording remote transmission of that voice, and you've done your scan, is say for that $55 that someone might invest, do you sit with them online and they listen to the recording, the music recordings, or is it the scan's done, you send it off and they listen in their own time?
So I see people face to face and I see people Zoom. So when I see them face to face, we sit and we go through, they'll give me their voice, obviously, we create the client profile, I explain what's going on, and then they stay with me and they listen to the harmonics while we're together, and we use the glasses and so on and so forth. When it's a Zoom consult, I won't send their report until I've had the opportunity to actually sit them down on the Zoom and then share my screen with them. Okay. So what I do during the consult is basically teach them how to read their report. So what the person is that's in the picture, what the positive and negative emotions are that they could be feeling, the quick snapshot of the vitals, and the imbalances and suggestions. Because I found that when I've sent reports to someone and not gone over that with them, there's a lot of backwards and forwards on Messenger with questions. And you can eliminate all that by jumping on a 30-minute consult with them.
Yeah.
So even people that I do freebies for and things like that, I always try and jump on and just show them how to read it, because then next time if they have another one, we can maybe do it a little bit cheaper, or create monthly plans for your clients as well. That's a really great way to keep a client base, is having a monthly plan for someone. So say like one invoice scan a week for $20, $80 a month, and they pay that up front, and you just do it every week on the same day, things like that. So it keeps the cost down for your clients once they've learned how to read their reports, but at least you've still got that client base coming in as well. Same with playlists, charging for your playlists and things like that. But yeah, I definitely go through the report, but they don't listen to the harmonics when they're on a Zoom consult.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. It's a little bit too hard because they have to have the headset in, and
Yeah.
it's too hard to do it that way, but definitely teaching them how to read their report.
Yeah.
So with that headset thing, if they're on a Zoom, do they just use headphones or that they've got, or
Yeah, so with the inner voice scan, obviously if you're seeing them distance, then they don't wear a headset when you're taking the voice. So a lot of my clients just send their voice through Messenger, and I put the voice against the tablet and play it through that, and then create the report, and then they listen through their own headset when they're listening to the harmonics.
Cool. That's what I've been doing. So I didn't initially like think I had any headphones or anything. Then I remembered that I have these like little wired plug things that go into my phone. So I'm like, okay, I can do that now.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I've just given them options like that. Whatever headphones you've got, just use them.
Yeah, whatever headphones they have, but they must wear headphones to listen to the inner voice scan. So playing them in a room, playing them in the background, it won't have it will have like minuscule effect on them. The headset must be worn for the inner voice scans.
So now how does that go for like babies and that, because babies don't like things on them like that. So
no, so with babies, I will probably just play it as close to them as you possibly can, because the information that's going through the headset in the left ear to the right ear are completely different. Although having said that, with the new pulse tones, that's actually changed again. So it depends on which way they're actually listening to that inner voice scan. I don't send the pulse tones to clients because I think it could be a little bit overwhelming and confusing for them. So I just send the 4 individual harmonics. But myself, I use the pulse tones. So it depends on which way you're actually delivering those harmonics to them.
Yeah.
But yeah, with my dog, or for example, the dog, I just put the tablet at the side of him because obviously they don't wear headsets either. So
that was going to be my next question. What about pets?
But I do have the habit of actually putting the bone conductors on him when I'm running the scan. So I figure, why not? I've got them. Why not? He wears them.
Yes.
It looks very cute wearing them as well. Yeah, so any other questions before we finish off, ladies?
With the inner voice scan, can you send a person or a client the play that, like, the frequencies for them? How often do they listen to that? Is that just a one-off and then that's it, or can they listen to that over a few days, or how does? Because I with myself, I'm like, oh yeah, I've done it once, like, but can you keep listening to it?
Yeah, absolutely. Good question. So with clients, I always say to them they must listen morning and night. They can listen anytime in between that they may need them. If they've only got, say, 2 minutes to listen to something, always get them to listen to the 4th harmonic first, because that's the emotion that they're suppressing the most, the one that's buried deep. So most of the time I will say to my clients, if you're going to do it in any order, do it 4, 1, 2, 3 rather than 1, 2, 3, 4, because that way if they run out of time or if they fall asleep. I have people that go, but I fell asleep. At least if they do fall asleep or they do run out of time, the most important one that they should listen to is the emotion that they're suppressing and they're burying, and that's the fourth harmonic. So I'll get them to listen to that one first. And if they need it through the day, that's the most important one to listen to. But definitely morning, definitely night. And it would last them anywhere from 4 days to 2-3 months. So it
that same exact.
Yeah, so it
Okay.
depends on how they receive the frequencies, but they will know when it starts to not work. We're fortunate we have the technology, right? So we can do ours daily. But for example, the other week I'd been to work and I was driving back over the bridge. I live near Bribie Island, so I was driving over the bridge to Bribie, and I used to suffer with really, really bad anxiety and medicated and everything else. Thankfully, with this technology, all that's in the bin. But yeah, I was driving over the bridge and I got that, you know, that icky feeling in your tummy when you're like anxious about something, and I was just like, what's this? And is it mine? That's the first thing I went to, was who does this belong to? Because it's not mine, it's not familiar. But it was mine. And it was, I've not felt that feeling for a long time because I've been doing the inner voice scans. And I'm feeling into it and I'm like, why do I feel this way? And it's been so long since I felt this way. And then I just went, I'd been to my parents and I'd taken my device with me. And it was about 4 or 5 days prior. I'd come back from my parents, I left my device in my bag, not touched it because, you know, life. And yeah, 5 days later, that icky feeling was back and I was like, nah, straight onto the inner voice. So for me, I knew within 5 days that it wasn't working. And probably because I'm more susceptible now to the frequencies and being able to my body absorbs them a lot better because I'm used to doing it. But I do have some clients that still go back to ones that I gave them 3 months ago, and they say that they feel comfort and calm from them. So everybody's different, but yeah, at least they should get at least a week out of it.
Explain when I do mine, because when I do my inner voice, I'd been doing it like almost every day, running the actual scan, and it sort of comes up with the same thing. And I'm like, why? Like, so obviously I've got to keep listening to.
You've got to keep listening. Yeah. You've obviously got something deep-seated that really needs to shift out of your body. So
well, a lot of it is like fear of failing and stuff. So I think in relation to this, when I asked the question, because I'm not qualified, that I may not have succeeded. So yeah.
You will definitely succeed.
Yeah. Okay.
So have faith in what you're doing. It's the same with absolutely everything. You need to learn your craft, because if you're not confident, then people aren't going to resonate with you. So you need to, you know, I never thought that I'd be running trainings for Frequency Soul Collective, but it comes, eventually it comes. So just keep at it, you will succeed, and you've got a great team around you to lift you up as well. So we won't let you fail, honey.
So thank you.
I'm just going to go through the chat and see if there's any messages in the chat. Okay, Lean, you asked, you didn't say where I accessed the Pay Quicker. I'll put a link to Pay Quicker up in the group chat for you so that you can save that somewhere, and then you will get like Julie said, you get an email from Solex inviting you to join Pay Quicker. But I just keep all the links. A really good idea to do is everything that you think is important, that you use a lot. I've got a notes section in my phone with every single link in it. So the videos for introduction to Solex that you can quickly send through to clients, so you're not searching and trolling YouTube for it. I've got all those links in there, how to work the Alpha 3 pass, where to find Pay Quicker, the app link, all those types of things, and they're basically just in a notes section in my phone, and it's really easy access, and I found that much better than going, where do I find this? So what else have we got? Wanted to know how to scan in my oils. Kayleen, did you get your answer to that one, honey?
Yeah, so that was when I was having my dinner. So I was putting the questions in then while I was thinking of them. So yeah, so it was we could only scan, we could scan the bottle, wasn't it, on the scanner? Was that correct?
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
but
So
we can't actually send them.
No, that's correct. So we'd love to be able to do that, but I suppose we have like hundreds of frequencies already in the scanner. So, but what you can do is, like, for example, you could go into Cephi and you could imprint the frequency of an amethyst crystal into your oil, and you can do it that way. So that's a really great offering to be able to give someone that's coming into a Reiki session. If you're selling them an oil as well, then you can imprint a quartz crystal frequency into the oils as well. So there's lots of little things that you can do as part of your business that just helps enhance what you're giving your client and really makes that point of difference compared to what someone else is doing. Because let's face it, everybody's doing everything nowadays. So we need to have that point of difference as well. And I use all those little things as a point of difference in my business. And I do it complimentary for people as well. So, and just the fact that I like to have a little bit of fun with the technology too and play around.
Yeah, that's it.
Okay, what else is there? I think that's it. Oh, Julie, how did I get to the shop course? What shop course?
You know, the back shop, you know, like
The back
we've
office?
done basics 1, basics 2, the shop, and then phase 1, phase 2.
Let me share my screen again.
Because I'm a bit anal, I like to do all the things, and I've only done 1 and 2 in the basics, and then I went to do 3, which was the shop.
So it should be there under training. Let me see if I've got the right.
Yeah, I'll click up on them.
There you
See,
go.
you've got 100% complete on the shop, Solex shop site. How
Yeah.
do you do that? How did you get there? I haven't got that. I've got 50% on Solex University, 100 on the others, and I can't get that Solex shop.
So you should be able to just click on it and it would take you straight into it.
No, it doesn't.
This video is private. Why is it private? And why have you taken me to that?
Oh, where'd I go?
Maybe it won't let me back in because I've already done it.
Yeah, yeah, so, okay. I think that's what it shows up. It says that private video. I think it does say that when I go to do it.
I wonder if they've, excuse me, I wonder if they've taken it off.
But on those little things as well, you could go mark incomplete, because I've just done the basics so far. I haven't done the other ones yet. But yeah, you could just mark incomplete and then it should, but I wouldn't, not on this, if they've taken the video down.
I don't think it's
just do it on something
anyway.
simple like
I'll have a look. I'll have another look. Okay.
They may have taken it down because they have been doing a lot of updates for things. So they could have actually taken it down to update it.
Yeah, because I've got all that, but
it's back office. Yeah, it's got the back office one still on there, so it wouldn't surprise me if maybe they've taken it down. But that would be a support question if you're wanting to access that.
Yeah.
That would be a support question to see whether it's actually still available. Yeah, that's all.
This video is private.
It's been a while since I've done it.
Okay, all right. That's all.
That's all. No worries. I will stop the share. Okay, well, if there's no more questions, ladies, I will let you get back to your evening. I will stop the recording.